listening to Nasty Knuckles, the Hockey Outlaws podcast, with your hosts, Derek Nasty Settlemyre and former Philadelphia Flyer enforcer, Riley Cote, as they go behind the scenes with your favorite NHL players. Time to face off.
Welcome back. What is happening, Nasty?
What's up, Rigarelia? You a little under the weather, or what's going on? We're in different spots, which I don't like doing this.
I don't like it either, Nast.
I think
just
you got
trying
a little
to stay,
bit of the cold.
Stay away.
You got a little vidsy. You got
a little vid. Yeah, I tested positive on Saturday. Little fatigue, little body ache, but nothing crazy. And unfortunately that pushed me back 5 days in quarantine and had to do it remotely this week. But other than that, I feel pretty damn good.
Well, I'm glad
it's my last day of quarantine, and we're back to business.
We're
back in the studio.
That's exactly what I had. I actually didn't have any body aches, but I am a little younger than you, so it probably didn't affect me as bad as it did you. I just, when I had it way back, it was, I didn't even know I had it, but you know how hyper I am. I was like pretty fatigued, and I took a nap on Sunday, basically all Sunday. That time when it happened,
woke up Monday.
It was basically woke up Monday, but that was the only thing I had. And then I felt perfectly fine. So I guess we're both fortunate, because obviously it's had some terrible effects on some people. Which is awful. But speaking of this COVID, it's tearing up the league right now.
Yeah,
which is brutal because, I know we mentioned it last week on OT. Steve Yzerman addressed the media and was just like, hey, if these guys don't have symptoms, they're young athletes, they're in tremendous shape, and they literally have no symptoms. Maybe not testing them every 3 days. I don't know. I'm not a doctor, but the guys that have had it with the Flyers, I've been able to talk to, had no symptoms and were shocked when they got the results. But it's almost like you shouldn't be shocked at this point, because it's like,
it's a matter of time. It's coming.
Connor McDavid just tested positive, and it's just a shame because, it's nothing to joke about, but these guys are in tremendous shape. They're showing zero symptoms, and
I agree.
Kind of mess.
I agree. They got to change something. This is like being sick until proven healthy. It's like if a guy is sick, obviously you test him, and then put him in the protocol. But if he's sick, it didn't matter if it was COVID or not, you probably wouldn't play. So right. I don't know why we're drifting so far off away from common sense here now. And, now it's becoming almost laughable. I hate to say it, but it is. It's disturbing, because if you're not sick and you have no symptoms, why are we looking for something to test for and looking for something to grab onto so we can take someone out of the lineup? It makes no sense. It doesn't help the cause. It's not protecting anybody. Everyone's going to get this, whether you like it or not. Everyone's around each other all day long in these bubbles, staff included. Everyone's going to get it. And like we're talking about, most guys, I would say 50% at least, just talking from the Flyers guys, have no symptoms. So we're gonna have to figure something out, because this is getting carried away, and it's not helping find a solution. This is not helping the cause. In fact, it's just giving them more ammo to shut more things down, postpone more games. And it's obviously not about public health. It's never been, in my opinion. It's just a control grab here now. So we'll see how it pans out.
It's a shame because, all these guys got, vaccinated. At the beginning, you're told if you're vaxxed, no way you're getting it. Now we're 3 shots deep. And I think that's what's frustrating these guys is like,
they did everything they were supposed to.
They did everything they were supposed to do. And, I feel so bad for Ivan Provorov last night. This kid has not missed a game since he came into the league.
Yeah, such a shame.
And, he has zero symptoms. I talked to him yesterday. He was beside himself, and you can't blame him. I mean,
yeah,
I don't know.
You got the Iron Man streak of 403 games, and you're pulled out for something that they're telling you you're basically sick, and you have to sit this one out.
And he didn't feel it at all. And I feel bad for him. And again, we're not making light of anything dealing with this, because I know, some things have been serious for people. But these guys are tremendous athletes, are in unbelievable shape. They're young, and it's proven it's not, it's not deadly for them so far, and I don't want to jinx it.
And they're healthy, most of these guys are really healthy.
Looking at the numbers.
We just got to use some realism with this whole thing and just almost find a way to live with it without shutting down every time test comes up positive. We're not shutting down the world and shutting down the team and the building and all this stuff every time someone tests positive. I think we're way past this. We're 2 years deep here now, and I think we're realizing that especially amongst a population of generally very healthy individuals, like what are we doing? Like let them be. And let this thing run its course. But yeah, unfortunate for Provy, you go on an Iron Man streak like that, and then you have to get pulled out of the lineup, not because you're feeling shitty, it's because you're actually tested positive. There's two different things, if you're feeling shitty and you're feeling under the weather, have at it, sit out and get better. No problem.
Quarantine, do all that, but
every team's going through it. Flyers aren't the only ones, obviously, and they played Anaheim, which was depleted with some COVID as well. Some bigger names there are missing, but it's just unfortunately the reality we're living in. Hopefully the NHL can adjust some of these policies. I don't want to keep beating a dead horse here, but and move on and just try and find as close to normal as you can in this whole thing without crossing over and overstepping boundaries here. But outside of that, the last 4 games, Flyers are 1-2-1, come out of the Christmas break with a big win in Seattle, even though they got outshot. And then a big effort in San Jose. They got outshot heavily there with a big night by a rookie goaltender. And they squeezed out a point, but I think he faced Sandstrom faced 43 shots that night, which is a huge.
He had 43
43 saves. 46 shots.
Felix, I was so happy for him and getting that game. I didn't know if he would, because Jonesy played in San Jose the last few years. So, but I thought that was a smart play by Jozy and probably Kim Dillenbaugh had a little something to do with that. Like, put the kid in there. The team's been playing well. And he played great, man. I watched almost all the game. Felix looked really sharp, but I was so happy for him. He's a good kid. He's been here for a while. Finally get that shot. Was cool to see. Wish they could have pulled that one off in overtime for him, but he played amazing. LA wasn't the prettiest game, probably, I would say. Dropped that one. The shots weren't as lopsided in that game. I think it was like 37-34. They were outshot by 3, but Jonathan Quick played well. And then last night Anaheim, Carter finally got back in the lineup, and they dropped that decision. So that was an evenly shot game as well. And both teams, obviously, G didn't play, Claude, and Provy was out. Ellis is still out, man. It was an interesting comment by Jozy, that he's just not gaining any ground in his rehab, which is not really what you want.
Disturbing, honestly. I mean, how can you be out that long and not see any progress? That is like,
that's a scary thing.
My head is scratching my head with that one. It's like everyone just assumed that he's progressing, and then to make a comment like that, it was just like, kind of out in left field. So you wonder like really what's going on there. And then it really gets you to ask the question of like, did he come to the Flyers as damaged goods? You know, like, is this a brand new injury? I know he's been, banged up before, and that was kind of a little bit of a knock on him, but like, geez, I'm like, what is this? Like, is this just a freak thing? Is this mismanagement? I mean, who really knows? I mean, I don't know the answer, but it's a huge blow. You think after 6 weeks, you're getting close to getting a guy like that back, and then you hear something like that. It's like, well, where does this go from here?
We were under the impression it was after Christmas.
Right.
And I think I read also, well, someone may have told me 1 to 2 weeks, but then that came out. So I don't know if that means 1 to 2 weeks, but it's never good when the head coach says he's not making a whole lot of progress.
Yeah.
That's not what you want to hear, for your first pairing, defenseman to play with pro.
I hear you. No, it's disturbing.
And it's probably really tough for Chuck too, because now, like, all right, can you give me some sort of date? Because if not, we're probably going to have to do something here. You're probably going to have to, you don't have to, I guess, but if you really want to make a push, I think you got to get a number 2 guy in there with Provy.
And they got to make this decision like yesterday, because now you're in the end of the first week of January. I don't know what the timetable is for this guy, but you drop the last 3 games. You're kind of slowly drifting back out of where they had they worked so hard to get to. They're at a point where they're going to be running out of time here very, very, very soon. So it's like
kind of caught up quick here.
Do you go and try and find someone? I don't know who would be available for a trade. You know what I mean? Like, if the Flyers are not competitive,
nobody wants to.
Who's going to give up a guy like that for non-competitor?
Nobody wants to give away a good defenseman. Like,
let's be serious. Yeah, it's not easy thing to do in the middle of the season. So you're going to have to.
You hear people like, Chuck, go get a D-man. Well, they're not growing in the backyard, like on your tree. It's just not that easy for a GM to do, and especially when teams know you need someone.
Oh, of course.
They're either here you can have this guy, but this is what we want in return.
Yeah.
And then you end up, getting it,
selling the farm, and then it ends up just destroying the direction that it might be going anyway. So it's a tough one. I mean, hopefully you can get some sort of timetable for them. Maybe it's 2 weeks, 3 weeks. At least if you can get something circled on the calendar, you can at least look forward to getting them back. But right now, keeping it open-ended is like, it's tough. It's tough to have a guy like that on the shelf.
Yeah, like you said it, and we had two games postponed, and they were tough games. So not that the boys were rolling pretty good there. So they had the Caps on the schedule in Pittsburgh, tough games. Those will be played later. But since Josie took over, I hate even counting the first 2 games because the man didn't even get a practice with the team. They did look a little better except for that game in New Jersey. But since he took over, they're 5-4-2. 2 games were postponed. And like you said, they started making some headway. This trip hasn't been the best. I mean, you got 3 out of 8 points. It's probably not what you want. Obviously, it's not what you want, but hopefully they come back home here Thursday and get a big effort. Hopefully maybe those days from when Provy and G tested positive, maybe it was from a couple days ago, and then maybe they're available Thursday because it's gone to a 5-day thing, right?
I believe so. Yeah, the quarantine.
I hopefully,
Hopefully, but nonetheless, they got to come back home and start winning again, right? I mean, there's no other way to cut it. You got to find ways to win games, and depleted or not. I mean, it's the adversity you're going to be facing the rest of the way, anyways. So it's the only way. It's the only remedy at this point is win games, find ways to win games, and then and then just grease yourself into the playoffs. But they're gonna have to start here Thursday, tomorrow night.
Yeah, I agree.
Against Pitt, get a big win, and then start over and get on a roll, because you got to stop the bleeding again. We're back in this position of drop 3. I know they squeezed out the 1 point, but it's not good enough. Even you mentioned those numbers. It's 1 game above 500. I mean, no team makes the playoffs 1 game above 500. Even though it's an improvement from what they were doing before, not in this league the way it is now. It's like you got to be better. And time will tell. It's just gonna have to find a way to clutch and grab, and just find ways to steal every possible point you can. That's it. There's no secret sauce here.
We were talking about last week, they had scooted their way up to a point, or maybe even 2 behind the wild card, even with this tough trip. And games need to be made up by some teams too, but even with this tough trip, they're 4 points out. It's not like they can't do it, so you can't panic. But like you said, it's in another 2 weeks. If you're still in this spot, it's I don't want to say panic, but it's time to, all right, we got to do something here, and hopefully you get Ellis back, like we said, and the team played well, like before this trip, everything was going well. I'm not saying they really played bad, like we said, they won in Seattle, game in San Jose. They seemed to get outplayed a bit, but they were in it because of Felix. And if you win that game, it's like, okay, you're 2-2, not too bad. You pick 4 out of 8, which you still rather have probably 6 out of 8 coming on a trip like that. But anyway, hopefully they can turn it around, like you said, Riggs, this week, starting Thursday at home against Pitt, who's playing well. They're playing
not going to be easy.
So
not going to be easy, Nast.
Nope, that's not.
So what we got going on in the world of fans of Philly? A couple trips floating.
Yeah, man. They're I believe their next one, they are headed to Long Island. I want to get on that one. I want to go there and see that building. I'm gonna call Joe.
Let's go, Nast.
See, I know. I think we should go. And then about Smashville.
Oh, Smashville.
My God.
Cannot wait.
Yeah, and it was great. The guys, all the fans of Philly guys, they girls went to Seattle. And
that's right. Yeah, that must have been.
I was
awesome.
messaging with him during the game, and they brought another W. They
were
there for another W, man.
Not a roll.
Yeah, they said the building was really cool, very automated. Joe said.
I can see that.
They got a W, and said the fans could have been a little better, but it's probably them learning the game too.
Right. Yeah.
It's
a new culture to them.
Yeah. But he said it was cool. It's cool that the boys won, and they had a great time. So they're a great group of people, man. They do a hell of a job putting all that together, man. I mean, it just flowed when we were there. There was 0 issues. It's just so much fun. I love it, man. I saw they were he put something up on Instagram about going to, if they play in Tampa, he's already got a place set up. I'm like, that could be fun. I know that's fun. Football, but I mean, just as a fan, how sick would that be? Go see TB, Tom Brady and the Gronkster, and then watch the Birds beat them. How cool would that be? And tailgate.
Oh yeah.
If we go, Riles, you're jumping off the car onto a chair, Buffalo Bills style. Right. But this will be Nasty Nuggle style. You have to do a flip onto it.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, no big deal.
Yeah, of course. No,
you're not landing on me though.
Yeah, right. Let's do it, Nas. But I'm definitely looking forward to March and hitting up Nashville. 500 other Flyer fans.
God, it's gonna be awesome.
Going crazy, having fun. But fansofphilly.com, check them out for all your sports, Philly sports travel needs. They do an amazing job. I wanted to give a shout out to our friends at the Lehigh Valley Winter Classic, Nast.
Yes.
I've been to this event 2 or 3 years. This is the 9th year they've done it, and it's an all-day hockey outdoor tournament that benefits special hockey of the Lehigh Valley. And the special hockey helps individuals with physical and cognitive disabilities play hockey. An amazing program. When I was coaching the Phantoms, my buddy Alvin in Lehigh brought me out and to one of the practices, and I've been to several of them. But to see what they're doing with these kids and getting these guys and girls to buzz around and be a part of something bigger than themselves and have fun is certainly something special. So this event that they're doing is February 5th in Lehigh Valley at the Bethlehem Municipal ice rink, which is actually a half outdoor rink. It's actually a pretty cool spot. But Bill Clement will be there this year, who's been there before, with myself, Coatsy, Kerry Frazier, and then also John Leclerc will be there. So they're signing autographs and interacting with the fans and the whole bit. So hopefully you can come with me, Nas. I'm going February 5th. We should
I'm in.
Make a thing of it. But just wanted to mention that because they do a hell of a job, and just just showing how hockey can impact so many different lives, no matter what you're dealing with, what you're going through. Hockey's a special sport, in a special community. So we will see you on February 5th, Lehigh Valley Winter Classic. Thank you, Adam Bortz, for all you do and putting that program together. 9 straight years, huge success. So we'll see you there. And Nast, that brings us to episode 56.
Boom.
Brought to you by Cureleaf Medical Marijuana Dispensary, 12 locations in Pennsylvania. My favorite marijuana dispensary. They got everything from flower, topicals, capsules, you name it, different doses, different varieties, and a hell of a friendly, knowledgeable staff. Been working with them for over 3 years, going back to when they were herbology, and obviously come a long way since then. And they're helping a ton of people, over 22 medical conditions now. So check them out at cureleaf.com. A huge supporter of ours. Appreciate everything they do. I support them as much as I can. So check them out. 12 locations in Pennsylvania. My favorite is the King of Prussia location. Every now and then I get back into Philly. But King of Prussia seems to be the closest for me and most convenient. But all amazing dispensaries with, again, friendly, knowledgeable staff that can help you increase your medical marijuana experience, guide you through, ask questions, and learn about the products. But now it's time to jump into episode 56, Nast.
With Andy Delmore. Big
Belly. Let's go. Welcome back. I'm Riley Cote.
And I'm Derek Settlemyre. And this week, we're very fortunate to have a good friend, guy I miss so much. Can't even believe I don't see you very often or get to talk to you. But ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the show, Andy Delmore. Deli, what's up, brother?
Well, nasty. It's been a long time, man. Feel like we grew up together back in the day. We were both young guys and living around the corner from each other. It was a lot of fun, man.
It was, man. I tell you what, we were just kidding around before we started here. We're going to leave things in the past, some of them. It was a lot of fun.
A lot of fun.
We'll put it that way.
A lot of winning, a lot of fun.
Exactly. It's always fun when you win, eh, Riggs?
Yeah, that's the truth.
That.
Yeah, life is so much better.
It is. Yeah, Deli, Riggs came in a few years after you, the second set of winning, when that really started happening again for the Phantoms. Because, you win for 3 to 4 years. It's tough to keep that going. But then we hit it again, and Riles came in, and it was a lot of fun with him too.
Yeah.
But sure. What are you up to these days, brother?
I'm coaching in the OHL back in my hometown in Windsor, Ontario. My first year there. It's been a nice transition moving back home full time. I was actually commuting to Toledo back and forth about an hour each way. So Yeah, it's nice to get home and spend some more time at home.
Nice. Yeah. Beautiful family there. I check out on Instagram.
Yeah, I got lucky.
Maybe what do they say? You outkicked your coverage or whatever. What's that saying?
I definitely did that, buddy. That's okay though. That's okay.
I think we all did.
Somebody has to.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. Exactly.
So how are things shaping up for the season? I know it's been a little bit of a nightmare getting going with COVID and everything. How is that shaping up for you?
You know, we were in good shape there up till just before Christmas, and then a couple guys went down, and then Christmas break. Came back for one game after Christmas break, and about another 6 or 7 guys went down, and then we had to shut her down.
Oh man.
Excuse me. So we just had our first practice this morning, and it was the first time I actually wore my mask on the ice because
really?
Oh yeah, like you just don't know what's going on.
Wow. Are they giving any sort of guidance, or is this kind of like a day by day, week by week thing, and see how this thing plays out?
You know, it honestly, it's like you hear the new restrictions and regulations every day. We're just living by the seat of our pants. Just, do you test with symptoms? Do you not? Asymptomatic. It just, close contact. It just goes on and on every day. So, we got a game tomorrow. We'll see. We're going to play with no fans tomorrow.
Okay.
See how that goes. Obviously, not too much yelling at the referees.
No, that's true.
No. Have a conversation now.
Yeah.
Right. You gotta have that. You can't be like Billy used to get going there. I don't know, Deli, what kind of if you're a loud coach, or do you stay pretty calm?
The first couple of years, I couldn't help myself, but then you learn that it really actually doesn't do you any good.
That's the truth, right?
You might as well just wait, bide your time, talk to them after the period, say, hey, what's up? Did you see that? No, of course you didn't. Okay, talk to you later.
Yeah, right.
Like, there's really no point,
Yeah, exactly. Well, they never change the call.
They never change. Yeah, you may as well just keep the peace.
But it's so hard as you have that competitive spirit and edge inside of you, man. It's just not that easy to not to stay calm,
Dude, I'm grinding my pen in my pocket to it's almost like into nothing in my hand. It's like, you're squeezing it. You're like, I think I just broke a pen. Yeah, you can't do anything. Believe me, there's sometimes you let her buck, but it's not very often.
Yeah, it's not helpful. You always find that they always try and come back around and shove it up your ass if you're a little too hard on them, or you at least feels that way. But do
you guys want to hear a funny story about who I heard was the worst ever in the OHL? Darion Hatcher.
Really?
Oh, he's in Sarnia, your old team.
Yeah, so he's not behind the bench anymore. But when he was coaching, I heard he was like the worst.
Really?
And I don't.
That's kind of surprising to me. Honestly,
it surprises me too. He's such a quiet guy.
Yeah, he's never really been
with the refs. He was the worst. That's coming from the referees.
Wow.
Yep.
I would be. That would shock me seriously. To hear Hatch,
I know Hatch too. He just doesn't say much.
Yeah.
Wow, that does shock me.
Grumpy with his old age, maybe. Who knows?
Yeah.
You know what, Rouse? I missed him. They had a big alumni game here, Delhi, a few weeks ago, and Riggs buried the first goal of the game. Not a big deal.
Of course, I did. Now.
But on the little. Where are you going? Pad stack doesn't work these days.
You might have to butterfly. You might have to go down normal.
Not only did he pad stack, he was about a half a minute too late on the pad stack. The puck was in and out, but it looked good. It looked good.
Hey, Neil's a showman. Neil's a showman.
I missed getting my chance to yell at Hatch because there were so many guys I was talking to that I hadn't seen in so long. I turned and Hatch and his wife had left. Hot Heather Hatcher, Triple H is what I like to call her.
Yo.
Yep. And
Triple
I
H.
missed him, and I missed him. But so what's he doing, Dell? I know he owns a team, right?
Yeah, he stepped back from coaching. So his son just left this year. His son was played there for 4 years.
Oh, okay.
So-
The youngest one?
Keaton.
Yeah.
Keaton, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So when he left, he basically stepped back as coach and is just the owner with Leggy now, David Legwine.
Leg one. Okay. All right. How do they do? Do they do well there?
They should be doing better.
Okay.
You know, it's actually a pretty good little hockey town. It's just, you know, you throw in not making the playoffs a number of decades with COVID. It's tough.
Yeah. I hear
It's
you.
tough. Good fan base, so they're passionate. Like I played junior there. It was awesome.
Right.
You know, but it's hard, man. It's hard right now.
Yeah.
It's true. It's not a good time to be looking at ticket sales when this stuff's starting to, we thought here in the States, it's good and bad. You know, some places are, you go to Florida. Riley and I were in Arizona last week or 2 weeks ago with fans of Philly, our buddies. And it was so nice, Deli, just to walk around and not have to put a mask on and not have people say, hey, put your mask on. And
Haven't felt it in 2 years.
yeah, just to be
Yeah,
normal.
it's
I
incredible.
mean, and isn't that crazy to even say that, you know, that we just felt normal. It was great. You go to Florida, it's the same thing. And, you know, it's not too bad actually around here. They haven't quite gotten back to as crazy as it was.
Well, until
last
you get
year,
into
but-
Philly, and then they start to get.
well, then
what
Philly,
Canada's feeling right now is just that.
yeah,
extra,
it's there.
extra
Things
layer
are
of
open though,
pressure.
but I think you guys shut restaurants down, right?
Yeah, indoor dining is done as of tomorrow.
I mean,
Yeah,
they haven't
indoor
done that
dining,
again. They
No
haven't done that.
gyms, no theaters, no nothing. No fans in the stands.
We read a tweet or a Instagram. Someone posted, was it Riles 2 weeks ago or maybe last week? It was a junior team, and they said you're not allowed food or drink,
Nope,
and
in
you
the
cannot
stands.
stand and applaud, even if
Yeah,
your team scored. Like, what does that have to do with anything? Standing and applauding, like it blows my mind
COVID
away.
knows when
But
you stand up.
Yeah,
I
of
must.
course.
No,
That's
it's
what COVID's letting your buck.
Like,
Stay put. You gotta
yeah.
stay put, man. Don't get too
I-
excited.
it-
you know.
11 p.m.
Eh,
11 p.m.
Yeah, 11.
Everything
10
closes.
p.m. in Quebec,
They
man.
know.
It's even crazier there.
Yeah. Because
Um,
COVID knows 10:01. Let's get.
Yep.
yeah, exactly.
Game time. Well, it's a shame. It's a shame, but
It is a shame, especially for the kids, man.
These young kids trying to get drafted, trying to get free agent deals. You know, you just feel for them. Like some of them aren't getting any better because they're just not getting the time.
Right.
yeah.
You know, there's this one D-man we got, didn't play all last year. It's his draft year this year. He's just starting to get there. Like, honestly, just starting to be on the map. Some scouts are calling me. Boom, shut down. It's
Yeah.
like, it's not what this kid needs.
No, it's not. It's a shame, man. Away from COVID, Deli, you becoming a coach doesn't surprise me. You knew the game well. You saw the game well. What is it? What do you take away from you? Like Riles is going to get in this in a few minutes. He wanted to ask you about some of your coaches, but what type of coach would you say you are? Are you a player's coach or, you know?
That's the only thing that works now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
That's a
Everything
good
else is
point.
outdated.
If you're not a player's coach, you better, you're done, in my opinion. There's very few around anymore. So I'd say I'm a great communicator. You know, just even the small things around the rink, you know, how's your billets? How's your girlfriend? Like, not just always on them, like, let them know that I actually want you to do good.
Yeah,
Right.
Just because
Right.
I sat you for 3 shifts, you don't have to call your agent. Just come
Yeah.
talk to me. We'll go over it. It's not a big deal.
Yeah.
You know,
That's-
and you got to build those relationships. It takes time and energy, but in the grand scheme, that's what I'm here for, is to help them get better and make their dreams come true.
Yeah, exactly. And Deli, you're a guy that wasn't drafted, and me and Roz were talking about this, and Roz was saying like it's pretty impressive the career you ended up having. You know, like I don't understand how you weren't drafted, to be honest with you, just because I knew you when you came in and turned pro.
Yeah.
And you stood out, right away. But it's going to be tough for some of these kids, like you said, to get drafted with all this stuff going on.
I know. We got a 20-year-old D-man overage that I think the world of the kid. But like, these scouts want to see it not just for half a year.
Right.
Like they want to see it like in the playoffs, like see if you're competing, when the chips are on the table, right? They don't care the games before Christmas that much.
Yeah.
So I got lucky that, a kid on my team in junior was actually drafted by the Flyers. So they were always around. Shane Kenny, I don't know if you remember.
I remember Shane. I sure do.
Big Sugar Daddy Kane there.
Yeah, yep, I remember him.
Like
I sure do.
He was a beast, but he just fell apart at the seams. Like I said, he ate and smoked his way out of hockey.
Yep, he sure did.
I was there kind of just not waiting for his contract, but they were around and I basically got his contract without the bonus.
Yeah. Well,
so
you deserved it.
Right time.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
And I read somewhere, Deli, about you being not drafted, really kind of like throwing that chip on your shoulder. Can you talk about your mindset? I mean, obviously you had expectations to be drafted and the disappointment that comes along with not being drafted, and then how that could fuel you obviously in a positive way.
Yeah. There's a story that I have that, so I didn't get drafted. I drove all the way out to Edmonton, actually flew to Vancouver, drove to Edmonton, and I didn't get drafted. And I got a message on back then it was a message on your home,
Right.
voicemail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was John Ferguson, Sr., who was the GM at Ottawa at the time. And he kind of said, I'm kind of surprised you didn't get drafted, but we want you to come to minicamp. So like the sting was there for those couple days, but as soon as you got home and hit that voicemail, you're like, okay, it's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
Right.
Now I just gotta, instead of being at the gym for an hour, now you're there for 2. The little things like that you just grind it out. Like, if you want it, you're gonna get it.
Yeah.
100%. That's true.
Yeah, there's no time to be hanging your head and feeling sorry for yourself. Like you said, it's like, the initial sting maybe hurts, but then, life goes on and people are going to come knocking eventually, because your talent is your talent, right? And someone's going to be attracted to it at some point if you're doing the right things. And
yeah, for sure. Like my overage year too in junior, like Nasty will test, like I was probably plus 42. Like I was like, it was steady Eddie. It wasn't just power play. Like it was a full game. That power play thing kind of came at the end where, he's just got a good shot, throw him on the power play.
Right.
But like earlier on, like it was full bore ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cause that was, your last season in juniors was pretty remarkable. I mean, you're over a point a game and you said plus 40. I mean, it's for a defenseman, that's no joke. So obviously you're going to have teams looking at you.
Rocking and rolling pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I thought too. Cause that's what, you hear, like you're getting points, you're playing good. Like you hear stuff from everybody. Right. So, you knew you started to have a chance when you start to hear that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. You made a good point there too, Adeli, about your coaching style. Riles just finished coaching just a few years back. He retired from coaching, and you have to be. You're right about that. It's a great point. You have to be a player's coach now. It's amazing. From like you're a little older than Riley. You remember what it was like when you came in. Holy shit! Could you imagine if you? And you know what? That's the way it was, though.
You didn't know
just
any
the way
different.
it was.
Yeah.
You didn't know any different.
When you became a pro and you were 20 years old, you're a kid, man. Let's face it. Like you look at they're kids. We know that now. We're a little older, but you had to turn into a man right away.
Well, it wasn't even the coaches. Like, it was the vets. Like it was, like
it was
go
ingrained.
Time.
Yeah.
It was like, you're grabbing the bags and you better shut up.
Yeah.
And you know what? We were going to get into Johnny Stevens as a coach, but as a captain, you played with Johnny, and
Well,
he was
you know what?
basically a
I
coach.
know. I couldn't agree more.
He was basically a coach as a player.
He was my D partner pretty much that whole first year.
Yep.
And you know, funny, I'd come back and he'd look at me and goes, like, what are you doing? I'd be like, okay, like, I get it. Like, I got your point. Then the next shift, next time we come off, he'd be like, hey, that guy ever touches you again, just tell him to come find me. Like, it's like, hey man, cool. Like,
Yeah,
so go
exactly.
play your game.
Yeah, I like that.
Just don't screw up. Go play your game. And if anybody has anything to do with you, just send them to Rambo's way.
Rambo was coming with that double extra stiff branches stick that he broke one a game, and I don't know how it didn't break people's back when I couldn't believe he could break them.
He broke one of those a game.
Start a fire with those.
Won a game. Deli won a game.
Holy,
and it
broke one a game.
It was never in the blade.
No,
it was never in the blade.
And you know what, Riley? I think we talked about this before, maybe when the animal was on, but it was funny because Johnny was so well respected by our team. If anyone messed with him, guys would come flying in and he would snap. I could fucking take care of myself. And Billy would be like, you guys get in there. You didn't even have to tell the guys that, but
we didn't have to have 5 guys with over 200 pounds either.
Yeah, right. I was sure the tough guys back then, eh?
Like, there was like a 5-on-5. It was like at the heavyweight Royal Rumble.
Exactly.
There was guys fighting each other to see who was going to fight. Like, Frankie, like Mac. They were like, "No, I got him. Come on, guys."
Oh,
there's plenty of fights to go.
There were plenty, especially back then. There was definitely plenty.
Yeah, you guys have about 4, 5, 6 heavies every year there at the Phantoms.
Oh God.
Even when I was around, you guys, we had a few, but 5, 6 is a different animal.
Yeah.
Who wants to
play you guys? Sitting out that, it was crazy back. It was crazy. I've never seen a tougher team than that year. Never.
It was a different game for sure. But tell you what, it was a man's game. That was my point. You became a man quick when you turned pro.
And like Billy was great to me, no doubt. Like, I give a lot of credit to Stutzy. Like, when you're riding that bike after practice, a lot of coaches will go hide, pretend they're doing their work. He was there watching you push that needle to where it needed to be. What were those bikes called again? Those Cybacks?
Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Cybacks bikes?
Yeah,
something like that?
I think so, yeah.
Like, they were goofy, and like he would just walk. He'd just be over your shoulder till you hit that number that you had to hit. Like, he didn't let you off the hook. I'll tell you that.
Mike Stothers, he's a really good man, and he was so perfect to go with Billy. I thought they complemented each other really well.
Yeah,
Stutzy could snap, but Stutzy also, like you said, he would come to you and he could calm Billy down too. But a lot of times, back to Johnny Riles, I think I've told you this before. It was funny. I would go downstairs and be like, "Hey, Billy, we're leaving tomorrow. What do you want me to do about this? What do you want me to do about that? Just go up there and ask Johnny and Kosher, whatever they say." Well, okay, well, I'll just start asking them because I swear to God, that was what he said every time.
Right.
Go ask Johnny. Yeah. Go ask Johnny and Kosher. See what they say. Okay.
Yeah, Johnny he was awesome as a partner for that year. I got so lucky being able to just see how a grown man operates, basically.
Yeah. He was a true pro. When people say that, he was a pro. Like, really good pro.
I read somewhere else too, Deli, that I think Luke Richardson was one of your other favorite D partners.
Yeah, he goes along the same mold basically as Rambo, where I didn't have a place to stay. I was coming back. Was renting, and what was the golf course there?
Valleybrook.
Valleybrook. And I was not going back there. And Luke Richardson calls me. He's like, "Hey, I heard you don't have a place. Get out of the hotel. Just come stay with me and the kids and my wife." And it was like, okay, just that nice, honest, just come on in and make yourself feel at home. And the same thing happened on the ice with him, where I can remember just jumping in front of a guy and be like, no. You're fighting me. You're fighting. And it's not him. Did you look at the stat sheet before the game? You're not fighting him.
Did you notice my leather straps on my helmet?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Did you notice those?
He's such a good man. He really is.
Yeah.
He really is.
I still talk to him, and
that's great.
He's just a great guy, and obviously went through a real tough time, but just a great human being, and just a real good man.
He is. It's well said. He really is.
Well, you had him too. He didn't say much, but when he talked,
right.
Listen up.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, there's two pretty awesome guys to be surrounded with. Just the character as hockey players, the toughness, and then just their genuine character off the ice. I think they're both. I don't know, Luke that well, but from what I do know of him, he's a real genuinely honest dude.
Yeah, two guys that definitely shaped me as who I am today, I guess. Like, I know it's crazy to say that, but like, it's two guys that I think about, and what would they do in that situation? Or,
right.
There's obviously other coaches as well that you take from, but two players for sure that, highly respected in my books, and probably you guys too, obviously.
Yeah. 100%.
Oh yeah. No, for
100%.
Sure.
Yeah.
I do too. I'll never forget, like, Johnny loved Dally, and he was hard on Dally. Dally, I know you're going to remember the story. So we came back from somewhere, and I don't know why we came to Hollydale, our practice rink, with our gear, but we did, because obviously we played at the Spectrum. And
but I think our cars were there. Didn't we leave?
Is that what it was? Maybe that's what it was.
Yeah. So all our cars were there.
So we there's an elevator, there's steps, guys are carrying, we're trying to get everything in. And the rookies always had to, like, not only get their bag, but help us with everything else. So Deli and the other rookies, who we had a great group of guys, man, Boosh, Wheezy, all those guys, just great people. But Riles, so we come back from a road trip, we're taking everything up, and I think, honest to God, Deli just was bringing stuff up, all this stuff, and forgot about his bag. So I hear Johnny down in the room, and he's yelling for me, "Nasty, get down here." He goes, "Where's Deli?" And I said, "I don't know." I said, they're bringing stuff up, like, well, he left. And I said, "Okay." And he says, "Well, his bag's not packed." I said, "I got it. It's no big deal. They were bringing on." No. Grabs his bag, takes it in the shower. I'm like, "No, Rambo, no, because it's not going to drop." It's the point. Throws it in the shower. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, you know what? It's all right, because I'm just going to put his practice gear. He can wear his practice gear tomorrow, and it won't even be wet, right? Johnny says, "If you put his practice gear up, I will knock you the fuck out." And I'm like, and I remember grabbing Deli the next morning going, "Hey, Rambo threw your shit in the shower."
Just a heads up, your shit is soaked.
It's soaking wet.
Don't get mad.
It wasn't me, man. And there was nothing. Johnny looks at you and says, "Don't."
You ain't doing much.
I'm not doing anything. And it's my first year as a head guy as well. Just like these guys are rookies, And I'm like, I was scared to death of Johnny. I mean, I knew he was a great guy, but like when he got that eye twitching,
that squirrely eye,
and he said he'll never do it again. But you didn't do it purposely. I knew that. It was just one of those things where if you did that to a kid these days,
they'd be gone.
They'd be calling their agent.
You want to, and it's so funny, Nasty. Like, you knew that I was the guy that I had 4 pairs of gloves. I always had to have a dry pair. Like, I was just fickle about it. And sure enough, I go in for a practice, and like, you could rinse out my Franklin gloves.
It's Franklin's, that's right. Yeah, the old Franklin's.
Unreal.
Oh man. But he said he'll never do that again. I said, I really don't think he did it purposely, Johnny.
A month later, I got my head shaved for some reason.
Did you get your head shaved?
They were just Neil and Bruce Coles pinned me down. Oh yeah.
How do I not remember that? God, I usually remember everything. Yeah. I remember they were going to shave Bush's head, and he ran and hid under my desk, and Frankie grabbed a hold of him, and Bush said something like, I'll give you $1,000, man. Because he had the locks. He had to be the locks going, Boosh. They were frosty too. If you remember correctly,
tips?
They were little frosty tips. Little JR. Oh man.
It was first round money trying to pay everybody off.
Yeah, trying to pay him off. I thought they let him off the hook though. They didn't shave his head. That's not right. They shaved yours. I'm not happy about that, Deli.
Yeah, what are you gonna do about it now? Lucky I have it still.
Yeah, that's right.
It's looking good.
Yeah. Take care of that little lid.
So, Deli, quickly about your rookie year, unbelievable team, unbelievable run. I was telling Riles, I was like, man, I look back and I remember that team obviously winning that championship. But the players we had, Peter White, almost 100 points, maybe more, Jimmy Montgomery, Craig Darby, Mike Manilock, Jamie Hewer, Dave McIsaac, yourself. So many guys that contributed and were just such good players. Sean O'Brien, you remember Obi. There's another guy that was
Kenobi.
Yeah, there was a guy right there, Riggs, that would
What do we call their line? What do we
call
their line? It was him, Jason Zent, and somebody else. Fuck. What was their name?
I don't know, man. I can't remember.
Yeah, Coach, you would have loved this O'Brien cat.
Oh man, he was out there.
He's a gamer, right?
But he could play too. But he was tough, man. He almost made the Flyers the next year. He played every preseason game, and he fought like Ottawa. And he was not very big. He wasn't big enough to be fighting guys like that, but he did.
Was he 5'10"?
Yeah, 5'10". He wasn't even like huge, but that year was unbelievable. What a way to come in pro hockey. Deli winning that championship. Litz was unbelievable. I mean, just the whole team.
It's the last championship I've won.
I got one more after that with Riles, and then that's it for me.
Like when you think about how special that is, like your first year, and then the 1 year with the Flyers, we made it to the semis. Like it's just you never know when it's going to be your time.
Right.
Claude Giroux was saying, his second, maybe even his third year, he was still a kid, but it was when he had really taken that next step and was known throughout the league. He was a good player. It was the year we went to the finals. He's like, oh man, we get back here a lot. I'm young, that's what you think when you're a kid, right? You probably didn't think that was the last time you're going to win anything. I mean,
no chance. No.
I certainly didn't think that. I was at the time 24, 25 years old. I'm like, I'm going to win a bunch. I'm going to get a Stanley Cup. Yeah. But it's just people don't understand how hard it is to win, even at the American League, every level, man. It's not easy to win. No. And it's always special, whatever level it is. It's special.
Guys, Ray Bourque had to get traded to Colorado to win one.
Yeah, Ray.
That's true.
After 22 years or something.
One of the best defensemen of all time said, okay. And it actually worked out. Like, it's crazy, but that doesn't always happen.
No, it certainly doesn't. And so anyway, it was a great year, man. And we could go on and on about that. I do want to bring up one thing because of Riley. So the second year of the Phantoms, Deli's second year before he gets to the Flyers, talk about toughness. Now, the second year we had Steve McLaren, still had Frankie Bylos. We got Dan Kordick at the end of the year. We had Dennis Bonvie.
Bones.
We had Bones. We had Ryan Bast, who would swing his stick around like there were no rules against chopping people in the head.
Is he in jail? Do we know yet?
No. Hey, he's doing unbelievable. I was seeing him every year when I go to Edmonton. He's doing great.
What's he up to? He's one guy I thought might be in jail.
Nope, he's unbelievable, man. He's doing so well. He was involved with
Marv
oil.
Albert?
What's that? Chris
Remember
Albert?
Marv Albert?
The
Marv? Was he the chemist?
Yeah, big Papa Pump.
The chemist.
Big Papa Pump. I never seen a guy teaching everybody how to do steroids properly. You got to do it.
It's a science, and you know that.
I know. This guy had it down to a science. And then I said Bones, Dave McIsaac still we had Francis Belanger, who had almost 300 minutes his rookie year. Wow. And Jesse Bullery's thrown in there.
Was Frankie Lessard there too?
He came the next year. The next year. That's some serious toughness there. It's some serious toughness, man.
I still say, honestly, Nasty, like, obviously we've all seen great fights, great fighters, tough guys. When Steve McLaren ate that punch from Scott Parker and broke his face, shook it off and beat him up after, I was like, okay, guys.
Hasn't Hershey?
No. Deli was right. No, it was at home. He literally, Riles, it's on YouTube.
Yeah.
He hits Woody right in the button. And his nose was dust. Like, remember after Deli? It
shattered like an eggshell.
Shattered his nose. And he literally kind of shook it off and then just went rampant. And I remember Deli and I high-five. You can see it on the video. Everybody on the bench, can't even. This would have put people down for fucking an hour. I just don't. Dead. I don't understand how he took that punch. But
you remember he was trying to skate to the box and then he put his hand up.
Yeah,
he's like, uh-oh.
Yeah, it's gone. I mean, he couldn't feel his nose. You should have seen his nose, Ross. I went up there with him. He ended up playing with a damn bubble after he had the surgery and everything. Really? I'm like, why are you even playing?
Yeah, right. Just take a couple nights
Rouse,
off.
You got to look this up. It's the crazy eating of a punch.
Oh,
and getting the decided victory after.
Yeah, yes. Right. Against Parks, man. That's no joke.
And the big guy, Parks probably like, well, how did he not go down?
How did he not go down?
You know, it had to feel like, Riles, you've punched plenty of guys, and you know when you get that perfect punch. I mean,
especially on the nose like that. Usually, you gotta go down if you hit him that hard.
I flick you in the nose, your eyes water, man.
Right.
You took an
I get a zit on my nose that water.
Absolute bomb, and shatters his nose. Oh, Woody, man, God, Stone Cold. They used to break the glass like Stone Cold. Steve Austin when it was great. He walks out. Yeah, it was great. We had it. We real quick, Roz. We had this kid. He played for the Phantom for 3 years actually, which I thought he only played 2, but I looked it up. His name was Mikhail Chernov, and when he first came, he didn't speak. Sneaky. He didn't speak much English, right? So he was watching TV, and he used to always say the same thing. I'd be like, "Mikey, what's going on today?" "Not today, Jim. Not today." He saw some movie that said that. That's all he would say for a while. But we go into Montreal's team was Freddie Beach.
Yeah.
It was the only time I got to go there, and we shit kicked them the first night. I think we played 2 games there, if I'm not mistaken. It may have just been 1, but we were shit kicking them pretty good. And Terry Ryan, I don't know if you remember that name, Rouse.
Mm-hmm.
He grabs a hold of Mikey, and all of us are like, "Oh man, that's bullshit, dude." Cherno pumped him.
Really?
Pumped him. And I remember they go to the box, they come back out. Ryan goes after him again, thinking this is just pure luck. It's kind of like that PJ Stock story we told with Sean McCosh. Kosh was like, that was lucky. This guy's not that tough. Cherno beats him up again. So after the game, I remember saying, "Holy cow, man." He goes, "Brother, pro boxer. I train." I'm like, why don't you fight more? You might be in the show, man.
Yeah. Get some street cred, dude.
You do that 2 more times, you're making 10 times as much money.
Exactly.
I don't know if you remember that, Deli, but I was like,
"Oh yeah,
whoa!" I'm like, "What the hell happened here?" But anyway, those teams were tough. Those teams were tough, but
sure enough,
yeah,
that's funny.
So, Deli, you finally get the call. Probably a dream come true. Well, you got to play a couple games, and I think it was
quick. My second year, I played 2 quick ones. But as we go back, Riles, to that chip on the shoulder, and I just all I ever dreamed about was playing 1 game in the NHL. That's all I wanted, and life would have been fine.
Yeah.
And that first game happened in Pittsburgh. My family drove in, and like I would have been okay if that was it. It would have been okay. Obviously I wanted more after I got the taste.
Right, of course.
Yeah.
But 1 game I would have said, okay, that's more than I'd bargained for.
Right. And then so you get called up in 99-2000 season and played really well. And, selfishly, Riles, well, as a coach, you guys are happy when guys get up and they stay. But like, as our team, we're like, damn, we lost our best defenseman, but it was so great to see Deli get up there and play so well. But holy cow, the playoffs come around, Delio.
Oh, boy.
Remember his A game.
Ew, did he? I don't think people forget about that, but kind of walk us through that game 3 against Pittsburgh in the second round.
You want to know what? It still baffles my brain, buddy. Like, it still really does. And, I can't even tell you what I did differently. Like, it just shot the puck. The first one was rolling, blasted. Okay, it goes in. Second one, I jump up in the play. I shouldn't even be jumping up, first of all. Like, I have no reason to be out skating our forwards up the ice. Boom. Third one, I don't even know. Why am I at the hash marks?
Yeah, your hash marks 1T again.
In the slot. Like, what am I even?
You were feeling it, man.
Leading the rush.
It's game 2. It's second round of playoffs. Why am I even thinking we should go up 6-2? Like 5-2 is not good enough?
Yeah.
Like, just chill out, man.
It's so funny because Mark Gregg, who was the captain with the Phantoms, was called up at the time playing in that series as well. And it's so funny because when you get the Hattie, you're coming by the bench and everybody's just so excited. And then Gregor's sitting there and he's like, got this shit-eating grin on his face, just laughing and just kind of giving you that look. It's so funny. You see him really quickly.
I paused it there. I paused that screen and I took a screenshot and I sent it to him a few years ago because I still see him around quite a bit scouting.
Yeah, scouting, yeah.
And he was like, oh, my God. He's like, I don't even know what to say to you.
I know. Yeah, you could tell he was so happy, but he was just like looking at you like, what the fuck, man? Right. But before that game, I think was that game 5, Riggs? That was game 5 when Deli had the Hattie. Was it game 5?
Yeah, game 3
then,
was
but game 3 in Pitt, you come up huge in OT.
Once again, what am I doing up there?
Yeah, right.
Hey, because you can skate.
Jonesy too, or what?
Yeah,
old Jonesy boy.
Yeah, it was Jody Hall to Jonesy over.
Yeah, Jonesy with a little layup sauce.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's awesome.
I still to this day, that's the biggest goal I've ever scored, though.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that.
Goal.
Yeah,
big goal.
Like down 2-0. We lose both games at home. Go into Pitt. You lose that game in Pitt to go down 3-0. It's over.
Yeah,
it's probably over.
Jagger, Kovalev, Straka.
Yeah, right.
Like, come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the biggest one for sure.
Yeah, that was exciting. It's fun we were talking, obviously talked to you yesterday and just going back and look at some things, man. I'm like, gosh, man, like just some really cool moments for you playing, in the league. And it's impressive. And being a part of the 5 overtime game. I know Riley and I were talking about that too.
Yeah, that was I look at, remember Dan McGillis on the score sheet, used to get the ice time, and we're like, that guy played like over an hour. Like, I think it was like are you kidding me? Like, he doubled me up and I was gassed.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's no joke.
He was a big man, but yeah, a lot, that was a fun playoff to be a part of, all that different stuff. Like,
yeah,
and then you get into the next series and Lindros gets KO'd. Like, just another, and it's funny, if you look at that video, I'm right behind him, kind of waiting for a drop pass. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Is that guy okay?
I didn't think he was.
It was a train wreck.
And you know what? Scott Stevens, like I saw his gear a few times. His shoulders, Riles, were like those little bitty
paper
things.
thins.
I mean, that was shoulder. That was basically a man's shoulder.
That's a man's shoulder right there.
And a man, a big man.
That's why it probably KO'd him too when you think about it.
Yeah, I agree.
If he would have had a normal pair of shoulders on, like, he's not going
to absorb some.
It's going to hurt, obviously, but
yeah. I mean, he went to the ice and there was concern about the man's well-being. That's for sure.
The crowd, how loud the Philly fans are. All of a sudden, dead silence. You know something's up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was It wasn't pretty.
That was nasty. That was nasty. I'm glad he's doing well, though. I just follow him on Twitter and a few things. I don't really get a chance to talk to him, but life's going good. Like kids, wife. Like glad to see he's bounced back from. Those are some serious injuries.
Yeah, for sure. Riley just got to see him there and played in an alumni game, like I mentioned before.
How was he, Ralph?
Good. He seems to be doing well. Yeah. He's asking questions, and I think everyone's always looking for a little help, a little extra something, but he seems to be doing well. Yeah. It was nice to see him. I think he's doing some stuff with the Flyers as an ambassador and be a little more visible around the team and everything like that. So I think it's probably good for him.
Yeah.
He's been
get him out and about.
Exactly.
Yeah, for sure. If he remembers playing here.
Yeah.
Poor guy. Man, did he get killed.
Yeah, that was rough looking.
Yeah.
What
a player though, guys.
Oh man, right? His prime.
I remember my first year, Delhi, with the Flyers, 2000 or what was it? Sorry, 2000. It was 94, 95. It was a half season. And when the guys came back, just watching him every day, a guy that size with hands that soft. I mean, it just didn't make sense that you could be that powerful, but yet make
that
such
twitchy. Twitchy too.
I mean,
I know.
God.
What was the old practice ring? The Flyers?
It was the one
right
over here. Yeah, I know what I'm trying to think of
Coliseum.
The Coliseum. Yeah, sorry.
I remember practice him coming down on a long ice 1-on-1 against me, and I was like, okay, like really, like what am I gonna do here?
Yeah, right.
He just takes his hand. See you later. Just a beast.
Yeah.
God. I mean, I don't know if you remember, Delhi, when he hit that poor kid, and I don't remember his name, in Ottawa, when they had the glass that didn't, they thought this was going to be a great idea where the glass didn't give.
Yeah.
Oh,
let's
you talk about thinking. I hate the guy. You got to give the D-man credit. He went back. He knew the freight train was coming, and he went back. He got the puck, and Eric absolutely let the air out of him. And I thought the guy was dead. He laid there. And the kid after the game was kind of funny because they interviewed him. He did an interview, and his whole face, he goes, well, at least I have a costume for Halloween. So that's what he said. I'm like, I'm sure you could find it somewhere. But I mean, I literally, I remember Ottawa had that glass that didn't move at the time. I'm sure they've changed it by now, but
no, let's hope so. I don't even think it's allowed anymore.
Yeah, no, it's not. They changed it soon after that. It was
the seamless glass. Great idea.
Yeah, real smart.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah.
But so that I figured that game 3 OT winner might be one of your biggest highlights, obviously, anytime you can score a game winner.
Yeah.
In the Stanley Cup playoffs.
And I think back to even like with the Phantoms, the game we beat St. John at home to win. I think the score was 2-1, and I scored the third goal in that game to go up 3-1. Yeah. That was a lot of fun too.
Yeah.
Like knowing that, Litz was on fire too.
Yes.
You go up 3-1, you're like, okay, I think we might have this now.
Yeah. And then we ended up poking in a few more, which
then
it's nice that when you're wrapping a series up and you're up a few goals. It happened with Riley too in game 4. We found a really good Chicago Wolves team. I mean, that team was stacked.
How much time was left on the clock when you knew you had it?
We were up 4 or 5-1 going into the third, I think. Rouse, no?
Yeah.
But you just never know, right?
You never know. Yeah.
But once it started getting down under 10 and it's 5-1, maybe it ended up being 6-2, I think. I can't remember the final. That was the most goals scored in that series because the first two games were two were overtimes, right?
Yeah, real tight.
Yeah. And I remember, Antiron and Amaki, I think we won one game 1-0 and then 2-1 in overtime. in Chicago. And then we came home and kind of gave them a bit of a beating in game 3, and then game 4 was tight for a while, and then we pulled away. But you're right, Deli. And you know what was great about these Philadelphia fans in your championship game? That place was, they were on their feet the whole third period. And for Riley's game too, like we were in the center.
Was that the Spectrum, Riley?
It was at the center. We played the playoff games because there was no NHL. So it was sold out. Right. It was the biggest purse at that time. It could have been bigger in the past few years, but because of the sellouts in Chicago, in Philadelphia, 20 plus thousand, the purse was pretty damn good for an American League.
Oh, nice.
Championship. Yeah, it was, that was nice because, both places were sold out. I mean, it was the best league. And we talked about that with Nate Thompson.
Yeah.
That was the best league in the world that year. My opinion,
by far. They sent everybody everywhere.
Yeah.
Like I can remember even like look at the guys on your team that year. Richards, Carter.
Yep.
Yeah.
We had a ton. We had guys that
already came out in playoffs, but we had.
Yeah, they came in the playoffs, and I mean, we had a really good team, man.
Yeah.
But so you moved on to Nashville. Riles was going to ask you a couple things about Smashville.
Yeah, well, no, outside of I think your two best seasons in the NHL in Nashville, you landed up playing with Scott Hartnell and Kimmo Timonen, who obviously landed up coming to Philly later on in their career. But Hartsey, I played junior hockey with Hartsey, so he's a good buddy of mine. So I was just curious to hear maybe a Hartnell story or two. I know he was real young at the time. He might have been 18, 19.
It was actually it was surprising when he made the team, to be honest, because I think he was an 18-year-old.
Yeah, that's right.
And he wasn't a top 10 pick, I don't believe. I could be wrong.
I think he was 7th overall, I believe. Was he not?
Was he 7th?
Yeah, he was a pretty high pick.
Well, even back then, none of those guys would ever make it.
Yeah,
it was,
I agree.
Maybe the
that's
first,
true.
Maybe the second, maybe. And Hartsey just came in, as we all know, a ball of fire, a ball of energy, and basically said, "There's no way you can send me back to junior."
Yeah,
he would do anything.
6th overall.
6, okay.
But he would do anything. Like you talk about blocking shots, fighting guys. The locker room, how does that kid have that much of an impression on a locker room at 18 years old?
Yeah, he certainly did. We missed.
That's impressive.
That was
him.
Yeah,
when he got traded out of here, Delhi, years back, that was the immediate thing. You just missed him. You missed a guy like that. It's tough to replace guys like that.
So I played with him as an 18 and 19-year-old. I can't imagine when he was 25. How much of a presence he must have been. Just obviously he's a fun guy, side, but then there's the side when that puck drops, he's a little different.
Yeah.
He gets wiry.
For sure.
He does. Yeah, he does get wiry. He was a perfect combination of that. The grit and the skill and that power forward and the seriousness and the guy that kept it loose, he's kind of a balance of it all. He was but the coming at 18, like you said, is tough to do because you have to be some level of mature to step in and try and play a physical brand.
He wasn't that big.
Yeah,
he wasn't big. He was pretty skinny back then.
Yeah.
I can imagine when he was 18. God,
coming in at 18.
Yeah.
What a hockey career. Not to say that I was surprised, but just happy for him, I guess you'd say.
Yeah.
To see the longevity and, being in such an integral part of a team. He filled it with the best of them.
Yeah. He was great here too.
And then I'll talk about Kimmo Timonen might give the best one-time pass in hockey.
Yeah, right.
What a player, man.
Oh my God.
There's never a time on the power play. I'd just be sitting over there waiting. I'd be like, okay, here it comes. Yep, sure enough. Right in the wheelhouse.
Yeah.
Right, okay, have at her. Rebound comes out, give it to Kimmo, back over. Okay, let her go again.
What a player, man.
Such composure too,
He used to get mad at me sometimes, eh?
Would he?
Like, yeah, he's like, are you ever going to like pass one of these back to me?
Come on. That sounds like something Kimo would say.
You know,
I'm like, I don't know. Like, I thought I was supposed to shoot them all. He goes, next time just fake it and give it back to me. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yes, sir. That's awesome.
Great human being as well.
Yeah. And, you know, what impressed me most about Kimo is how even keel he was able to keep himself throughout the game, you know, like things get great or bad or in between. He was just kind of like the same. And you carry the puck up, you'd think his heart rate was at, you know, a relaxed 65 beats per minute. Like, you know, nothing ever phased him. It seemed like that's what it appeared like. I don't know.
He could be. Yeah, I agree. Him and Zubov, those two guys. Somebody's coming at him on a forecheck. They're like, okay, here he comes. Like, okay, whatever. Gone.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that was, you want to know what? I was happy for him when he got out of Nashville. Obviously, we didn't win a lot of games there. And, you know, when he got a chance to go and, you know, obviously he won the Cup with Chicago, but got the chance to, you know, come to you guys and just, you know, win a lot of hockey games was great for him.
Yeah, it was awesome, man. That when Homer made those moves and brought him, Kimo and Hartsey in and some other guys as well, like it just, Kimo especially, it turned things around. He was just a total hockey player, and he did everything the right way, good pro, and he was good in the locker room. He talked when he had to, didn't talk too much, but if he did, everyone perked up.
We didn't talk much in Nashville because we were just after every first period we were down 3-0. Like, what do you say?
Yeah.
Like, everybody's tapped out.
Yeah, right.
You know, like,
that's tough.
It was a battle there. That's what I will say. It wasn't. I had good years, but it wasn't as fulfilling. That's for sure. Like,
right. What did you take away from Trotsy there? Because Barry Trotz, I've met him a few times, and from my experiences, like what a nice man, and always went out of his way to say hello. But he coached there a long time, man.
He's one of the best coaches of all time, in my opinion. If you look at it, he kind of started that new players coach, I would say. He was one of the first guys to kind of not come in kicking and screaming and just kind of be like, okay, well, these are adjustments, and, you know, we got to maybe skate harder. It wasn't like, he never really went nuts. Like, a couple times a year, it wasn't much. You know, he just was the first guy for me, kind of was the players coach.
That's interesting.
You know, even in meetings, like, you know, even if he's showing you negative clips that are teaching clips, we have to call them now.
Right. Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, we have us in for teaching clips, and somehow you walked out of that meeting and you felt okay. You weren't like down on yourself. You weren't like, oh, I can't play anymore, I'm shit. Or, you know, he made a way to make you go, okay, well, seems to make sense, you know?
Right.
Yeah. You know, I find interesting is, like, you know, like what we call a players coach is, like, you know, this new age philosophy around just really communication, right? But it just seems so, it seems so, yeah, right. It just seems so, like, interesting that, like, were we that disconnected to communication? Like, before that, like, we couldn't have had more, you know, just better communicators or better teachers. Like, you know, why does it seem so, like, foreign to have a coach that is a better communicator? And now it's like you couldn't find one that's a bad communicator, right? I mean, because that's, like,
you got to remember, the most important ingredient. There were some coaches for you, I would imagine, that you'd walk by them in a hallway in the hotel, and they might not even say hi to you.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Like, what?
Messed up, isn't it?
It's crazy to think that wasn't that long ago.
No, I know.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
And I think some of it is, like, it was almost like intentionally designed as, like, as a way to to play psychological warfare with your players too, right? I mean, it was that's the way they were taught, and that's the way they're teaching. It's just like, don't bother me. I'll bother you when I need to talk to you, and if you don't hear from me, it's probably good news type of deal.
That's true.
It's kind of messed up, but
very messed up.
You think how much opportunity they missed on actually coaching the game or teaching whether it's the game on the ice or the game of life off the ice. Like there's so much there that was missed by playing that way.
The relationships they missed on.
Right.
Yeah. True.
By not talking to people, like, man, like some of our players like that I've coached over the last 7 years or 8 years. I'm on Hockey DB once a week, checking where they're at, what are they doing, like, because you actually, I want to see how they're doing,
right?
Yeah, for sure.
And where do you said like Trotz kind of comes in and maybe paves the way as that quote unquote players coach, but like, I was in coaching for 7 years with the FAMs and stuff, and I worked with Terry Murray and John Paddock and some old school guys where you get like this hybrid of like Murph is probably one of those guys that it sounded like he didn't really talk to his players a whole lot, and and then the assistant coaches being the guys a little more out there communicating, like where did you notice that real shift in that philosophy in coaching, where if it was Barry, the way he communicated and just talked to your players, like was that really when you sensed the direction of coaching changing? Was it with Barry?
I wish I would have known earlier, to be honest. So
right.
I ended up getting traded from Nashville to Buffalo, and I know Lindy Ruff has changed since then. Like, obviously he has, or he wouldn't be where he is today, right? But at the time, Lindy was a pretty nail gun. Like, he was not messing around. So I'd gone from Barry to Lindy, and then like I had arguably the worst year of hockey in my life when I just went from one to the other. And maybe that's kind of when I realized how great Barry was. And it has nothing to do with Lindy. It's not that Lindy was a bad person or whatever. It's just that different philosophy on coaching and teaching, right? So after I'd gotten traded, and then after that, I was in the minors and the lockout, never really made it back to the NHL again. I kind of said, man, like Barry, that's when I kind of realized that Barry was the guy that just gets the best out of his guys in a different, calmer, simpler way.
Well, creating a comfortable environment for his players, right? I mean, there's nothing worse than going to the rink and feel like you're walking on eggshells because you don't want the coach to, you don't want to piss him off by the way you're moving around the rink or whatever, you know what I mean? So it must be just a looser, more confident feel to the locker room, which I think is what every hockey player wants, is go to the rink and feel like comfortable, and being around the players and coaching staff. I would imagine.
The one thing I've learned in coaching, and I've actually, it's somebody that told me, is you got to remove the fear. Like, there's no more fear.
Right. 100%.
Like you don't want to fear if you make a mistake, you're not going to play in the third. You don't want to fear. Just getting rid of all that fear out of the game is going to let guys just get better now. I guess that's the difference, 100%. What I think, I guess.
No, that's well said, because that was the whole shtick on the old school way of coaching was you fear the shit out of these guys, like send them down, we'll put fear in you. If you don't play, we'll send you down after the game, this and that. Well, we'll scare you to do this.
Out on the wall. How about if you don't get a puck out on the wall?
Yeah, exactly. I know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Grab a piece of pie in there, bud.
Yeah, right.
And you just know you're not playing. You're like, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sit here, get my pom-poms out, talk to D Nasty, see what's going on.
Yep. Loosen the skates up. I've seen guys loosen their skates up. They're like, I'm not going back out there.
Yeah,
Fuck. I hope you're right, because if you got to jump, you
in trouble.
Yeah.
But that's how much fear there was. You just actually knew you weren't playing again.
Yeah. 100%.
That's true.
And nobody would even come down and say, hey, you're done for the night. It was like, you just knew.
You just knew. Yeah. You just knew. Oh man. And would you say your philosophy, like overall, like towards the game of hockey, obviously like the attitude, the work and the fun and all that stuff, do you think your philosophy is the same now as it was when you first got into, say, just even in hockey in general, junior hockey and pro hockey? Has it evolved?
Yeah, I think it's evolved. Like obviously with the speed,
Yeah.
you get to the new sticks, you get to all that. Besides that, and D Nasty will attest. Like I was a guy that just loved coming to the rink. I can remember, Nasty and the late Cat Felix coming in and kicking us off the ice.
Yeah.
Like that's just what we did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what I try and install in our guys is, enjoy it. You don't know when it's going to stop. This game is fun. Like just remember, like
It's a game.
It's a game and it's fun. And it's funny. I had a kid the other day, young 16-year-old D-man, 6'7", 200 pounds.
Jesus.
Looks like a young pronger. But guess what? He's like Bambi on ice right now. And I feel bad. Like it's a tough go right now. And I'm like, listen, man, relax. You're 16. Like things are going to get better. Like, it's not, I just wish people would still realize that we're all here having fun.
Yeah.
Energy, having fun. And, do I get mad when we lose? No, I get mad when we don't play well. Like,
Right.
It's not about, like you played some great games and you lost and you're like, no, but I had a great game, but you lose. It's when you have a bad game, you don't produce, you don't, help the team. That's when it's a bad game to me. That's when you're mad. And that's not being selfish that by any means. Like that is just the fact of, especially as coaches, when we do everything we can, we play good and we lose. How can I be mad?
Right. No, 100%.
Basically is what I'm trying to say. Like,
Yeah.
Obviously if we don't do what we're supposed to do and there's no effort and, we lose on a face-off detail, we don't take our guy on a face-off, let's pull my hair out. Like that's what makes me mad.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
It's
Paying attention
not,
to detail.
Yeah, like we talk about it every time. Okay, it's man on man off the face-off. I say if your guy goes eats popcorn in the fifth row, you go eat popcorn in the fourth row, like with him. Like, you know what I mean? You're obviously on the D side of the puck. Like it's just those small things that I guess would fire you up. But we just want to have fun, right, Nasty?
That's right.
I'm glad you guys are still doing this because you guys obviously are having fun at it, and it's hockey's fun.
It is, man. It is. I met, it is what I miss being around. It's people always ask me, you miss it? I'm like, now that I've had, it's almost been 2 years, Roz. I can't even believe that it's been 2 years, but I'm fortunate, I guess, because I'm still involved. I get to I see the guys, I do things with the boys. And that's really in the end, Deli, like we always talk about this, like, what are you going to miss most? Miss sitting there having coffee and laughing and telling the stories from the night before. And that's what I tell people. I miss the boys coming in the morning, having their coffee, everybody sitting around, sitting around the room. Just Riles always jokes around, says, I think I spent more time in Nasty's office than I did anywhere else. But
I think we all did. We were just what we did.
Yeah, that's what we did. And Deli, Sean Podine, believe it or not, American, first tipped me off on the Tragically Hip, but then Deli taught me about the Tragically Hip, and that's when
it's a big intro.
And I don't know why that just popped in my head because you guys used to come sit in the back of my area at Hollydale there, and we would have that. We would always have music going, but those are the things I miss. And you're right, Deli. You never know when it's going to be done, and you got to have fun and enjoy it. And
it's the reasons I'm still coaching is because I can't let it go.
Right.
Like, to be honest, like I would love to try something different. See what's going on in the world, and maybe I don't know, pick anything. Doesn't matter. But I love the game still, and I don't want to leave it. I know it's not at the same capacity, Riles, as me and you talked about. It's not the same feeling. It's not that, the energy of the building. I don't feel that the same anymore. But I'm still having fun with hockey.
Yeah. Well, I think that's the most
main
important
thing.
part, right? Yeah, exactly. And if you're having fun, you may as well stick with it. And I think that's the ingredient that most people don't have in what they do for a living is that element of having fun. It's not work. But then you're where you need to be. I mean, I think at least for now, right? Until you lose that feeling, whether you're a player or coach, ride it.
Yeah. And if I don't realize it, somebody needs to tell me.
Right.
Yeah.
Like somebody just say, "Hey, you look grumpy, man. You like, you got to stop."
Right. Change career paths.
Okay.
Yeah. Exactly.
Well, that's that's nice to hear, because I think I think when you're a player and you transition, I think a lot of guys struggle with finding that fun, that the thing they love to do, and if they can't find a hockey job, it's hard to find somewhere else. A lot of these guys, so. Like I said,
it's hard. I agree. And people go through some tough times.
Yeah,
for sure.
It's, I don't know how you were when you transitioned. Like, was it hard for you?
Yeah. You know what? Yes and no. There was an element of my retirement that kind of was a pre-planned exit strategy where I could kind of focus on myself and you know what I mean, as a human being, and not be so pressured into the fight, into this dream that I was supposed to create. So there was an element of like a cushion almost, if you will, of like, oh, okay, I'm still in the game, but I don't have to fight and do this and this type of thing anymore. So there was a sense of relief almost. But I think getting into coaching certainly helped with that transition. Had I not got into it and it abruptly ended, like kind of the way it did, I don't know how it would have played out. So I had, I had a bit of a cushion. I kind of had, a support system, but I also was able to preserve my mental wellness, because I think that's what was chewing me up, was just that ramping up the fight all the time. It was the chronic state of anxiety. It was getting old, you know what I mean? So I needed to address it. So it served a couple different purposes. So I was just fortunate enough to have the opportunity I did. Shell Samuelson's house burnt down that summer, and Homer called me up and offered me the job. I turned my last year of my contract with the Flyers into a coaching deal. So the stars kind of aligned, in a way that was almost like, geez, Riles, I mean, you got to take this and move on with your life. So a little bit more of a unique.
Good on you for realizing your mental state, and you were sick of tricking yourself, to fight.
Pretty much, right. Exactly what was going on.
Like, so, good for you, and you're better off now. That's for sure, right?
100%. Yeah. You learn a lot about yourself, obviously, and you're forced to, because, what you realize when you're playing pro sports, pretty much any level, you're living in a bubble, right? You're given a schedule, a yearly, seasonally schedule, a weekly schedule, a daily schedule, what to wear for this trip. Like everything is so structured and so much discipline. And then all of a sudden it's like, well, where can you focus that type of discipline in a productive way and get some, get something out of it. So I think that's where guys struggle. Like, how can I direct my energy somewhere?
Yeah, for sure.
But
I agree. The timing, the nasty. If we're late, like, I know you'd cover for us sometimes, but like, people would go haywire.
Yeah.
Like,
always try to get the underwear outside of the room there, so you guy could throw it on and be like, oh shoot.
I was just talking to Nasty.
Yeah.
Why is
riding a bike?
Why is your suit in his room?
Right. Couldn't hide that one.
That's great.
That's good.
So what's your feelings on the Flyers this year, guys?
Well, they've turned it around lately. They made the coaching changes, Delhi. You hate to see a guy lose their job, but I mean, it kind of had to happen. Things just weren't they kind of started going the way they were last year, and it was a really tough year for those guys.
Yeah.
And Mike Yo stepped in. He's a familiar voice, but a new voice as a head coach. And the guys really like him, and they've done well. You know, I think they lost the first 2 games, Riggs, but they didn't even get a practice.
Yeah.
Then once they got a couple days in, they've gone on a nice little run here where I think they may have lost 2 overtime games, but only 1 regulation loss in their last, Rouse 8, maybe 9, something like that. It's they've turned it around, and they just got some news today. This COVID thing, like we talked about, Ivan Provorov, I was texting with him earlier. He tested positive. He has 0 symptoms. He's losing his mind. The kid hasn't missed a National Hockey League game since he's been a rookie.
That's
and it's going to cost him tonight. Claude Giroux as well. They just pulled 3 guys off the list, and then now they're putting these 2 on. So, but they've been playing well.
How's my good buddy Ryan Ellis fitting in?
Well, I'd love to tell you, but he's played 4 games.
That's it, eh? I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's played 4 games.
I think Mike Yo made a comment yesterday or the day before
that's what I saw.
That he's not making any improvement on.
Yeah, he hasn't had any.
Whatever. He came off the COVID protocol, but he hasn't made any improvement on his rehab. So I don't know what that means. It doesn't sound good, obviously. So.
No, it doesn't.
Such a shame.
That's the article that I was reading, and I was like kind of confused. I hadn't been paying attention or something, and I read that remark, and I was like,
"Yeah,
what's going on?"
It's funny you say that, Deli, because someone read that and asked me yesterday. It was someone that came into my shop, and they were like, "Is the coach saying he's not playing well?" I'm like, "No, he's not playing. He's hurt."
That's what I got out of it. I was like,
so I could see how you got that if you're not like, obviously you're not watching every single thing the Flyers are doing, but the 4 games he played, he was great. I mean, him and Provorov had an unbelievable, they were
matched up good.
Yeah, they fit right away, and it was really what I think that team needs. And if he doesn't get any better, I think you got to do something. You got to kind of maybe make a deal. You don't want to get rid of anything, but they're starting to play better. But I feel like you need someone to play with him, and it's nothing against anyone else, Deli, on their team. I like all their guys. He's playing with Justin Braun, and Bronner's played really well this year. But I think you need a real number 1 or number 2. I think Provy's a number 1, so number 2 to play with him.
I really enjoy watching that guy play the game.
Yeah. And I feel
that's for sure.
I feel so sorry for him because, he's played every single game since he came into the league, and he's going to have to miss tonight. So,
well, you want to watch, they should almost strike this one off the record.
I agree. Right.
I got the late Greg Johnson in Nashville. He was remember the lefty Greg Johnson?
Yeah.
He was the leader going in that year, hadn't missed a game in 600 or something, and he got hurt. So last game of the year, we basically dropped him off at the faceoff dot, and he made his way to the bench with a torn knee.
Come on.
So he got it. That's Barry Trotzroy right there, guys.
Wow. That's awesome.
That's what a guy does.
Yeah.
He could barely get out. No warm up. He didn't even go out for warm up. We just got him out there. Left winger, turned around, came back. Okay, see you later.
Wow. That's
Crazy.
Amazing.
Yeah. And that's why that COVID stuff shouldn't even count.
I agree.
Yeah. It's a shame. I tell you what, I don't know if you've kept up with Keith Yandles here in Philadelphia, and probably not going the way he wants it to go right now, point wise anyways. Hasn't had a great year, but he's got the Ironman streak. He hasn't gotten it yet, and I definitely knock wood for him. I don't want to jinx him, but God, it's only a matter of time the way it's going with everyone testing positive. But hopefully this shit clears up soon.
That'd be a shitty way to end that streak because what's he at now? How many games, guys? 8, 9?
Oh, what is it, Rig? You're a statistician.
I thought it was in the nines.
Yeah, it's in the 9.
Like 970.
9 something, isn't it?
Yeah, it's 9 something.
It's a lot.
And what's Doug Jarvis at?
What's that?
What's Doug Jarvis?
I'm
Was
not
he
even
the
sure.
guy?
Isn't he the leader still?
I'm not even
He
sure. I
might be.
thought
Also.
Yandel had passed it. No,
He may have. I don't know.
I just never heard of such a thing. It's just incredible. It's
Yeah, 900 in a row.
It's
I don't know if I
it's
played
insane.
900 total.
yeah, jeez.
Yeah,
It's hard to
Jarvis
believe.
had 964 straight games.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah,
where's Yandel at?
964. What's
Did
that?
Yandel pass him yet?
I'm going to tell you right now.
Yeah.
I could have sworn he was in 970.
Yeah, I think I did too, honestly.
Did he pass him last year? I must be losing it, boys.
Oh yeah, he's 922.
Oh, okay.
Oh wait, he sits at. Oh wait, he's the proud of the streak. Yeah, Doug Jarvis. Yep.
So did Yandel pass him yet?
Yeah, it's what it says. 43. Oh no, it says 43 short. How's that? Yeah, he's 43 short of Doug Jarvis.
Oh, okay.
And that was-
Yeah,
Yeah, so he's almost
he doesn't
there.
have the record yet.
No, he doesn't have it yet. So he's close.
I wonder, he just goes right home, eh, boys? He doesn't even smell it. He's gone.
Yeah.
Mask on.
Yeah, right.
Right home for that cat.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, Jens, you want to go for a quick one? Nope.
Better not. I think I'll stay in my room all weekend.
Yeah, no doubt.
Room service on the road, Jens?
I think they're making them anyway right now. I don't think they're allowing them out anyway
Oh, yeah,
anymore.
right.
Really? Oh, that's crazy.
Jeez, that is nuts, man.
Nasty, I was telling before we started, I was talking to Coates about Delaware and how I had been there because of Mark Eaton.
Yeah,
Remember
Eats, yeah.
He's from there, and he didn't know he was from there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he is from there. Yeah, I knew that.
I had no idea.
Oh, Eats got himself a cup.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. I seen him actually in Traverse City up at that rookie tournament. He still looks like exactly the same.
Does he really?
Crazy. Just
Still golfing?
Bone,
Good golfer
golfing.
still?
Yeah, bone rack, just a little rake. Hasn't put on. I
Yes.
think he's lost weight.
He's like Riggs. Riggs weighed 224 when he played. He's about $180 soaking wet now. Riley.
He's all veganed out. He's got it all figured out.
Oh my God. Drives me nuts. Eat a burger for God's sakes, Riley. Just won't do it.
Well, I'll do it now.
But- oh man. Deli, thank you so much for your time, bro.
Yeah, thanks, you guys. Thanks for
yeah,
taking me down
miss
memory
you.
lane again.
Yeah, man. Miss you so much. And hopefully we can catch up on all this shit. Settles down,
Yeah,
man.
I'd love
Best
to
of
make
luck.
my way back there, bring my family down, and
That would be awesome.
hit a beach up, maybe something down there. Grab a cheese. I haven't had a good cheesesteak in 20 years, for Pete's sake. I've been
Neither
searching
is
for one.
Riley. Maybe we can get him
Well, it's
to
only
have
been 10,
one.
Nast.
Yeah, true, 10. Oh, for
Well,
sure,
thanks for
man.
having me on, guys. Much
Yeah.
appreciated, and you guys are doing great and awesome to see you guys doing this. Lots of fun.
Thanks, brother.
Thanks, Deli.
Miss you, man. We'll talk to you soon.
Okay,
Appreciate
much
it.
appreciated, guys.
Okay, bro.
All right.
See ya.
See you later.
Everybody.
Want to say a quick thank you to our friends at Myco, the unique living mycelium beverage. Drink mycot.com, 12 different varieties of mushroom varieties. Check them out. An amazing beverage, amazing energy behind it. There's no words to really describe it besides give it a try. Hockey Outlaws, free shipping at drinkmycot.com. And a huge thank you to Andy Delmore for hopping on episode 56. What a beauty.
Oh, such a beauty. Such a good guy, man. Miss that dude. It's funny how the years go by so quickly and you just don't even realize how long it's been. I haven't seen him probably since his last year in the American League, when he was playing before he went overseas for a while. But he was a hell of a player, man, and pretty damn good story not being drafted. And not really sure why we didn't really get into it. Not really sure why he couldn't make his way back into the NHL because he could skate, shoot the puck, but
Yeah.
Either way, like he said, one game would have made his life, he was happy with that, and he got a lot more than that, and had some pretty cool moments in his hockey career. He scored an overtime goal in a crazy series. I remember going to the games that were at home. I was with the Phantoms, but I would come in and help out because of the extra guys, and Barry's 3 there at home was amazing.
Right.
I mean,
Not
what
a
a
night.
day. Can't even imagine doing that. But like he said, scoring that overtime goal was probably his favorite moment, which is understandable.
Yeah. And, to your point about, why did he never really come back to North America and play more? I think I seen this when I was coaching the Phantoms, is like you have older veteran defensemen, and he was signing 1-year deals at the time. I think Columbus and wherever else he'd Chicago maybe, or wherever else he had signed. So teams are looking for some sort of depth and leadership. And I think a lot of the times they're not expecting these guys to actually be there full time. It's, again, a depth guy that's a veteran that's going to go down in the minors and be a good guy and a good leader and whatnot. When you're kind of not towards the end of your career, but you're kind of an older guy, because how it is every year. You got new draft picks coming and new draft picks, and they're all excited about the young and up and comers. And, so you got to have your pieces, you got to have your veteran guys. And he landed up being one of those guys, whether he's kind of like a John Slaney or Danny Savret, or, there's a bunch of guys that we've known that have kind of fallen into those grooves, and there's nothing wrong with them. But NHL is an ultra competitive league, and they're generally going younger and younger. So I think he's just a victim of being an older veteran guy, and then not getting the opportunities that young guys get. But that's just the nature of the beast. I don't think he had any complaints about it. Once he recognized that might be the way it's going for the next couple of years, he went back over to Europe and played, I think, 3 or 4 more years in Italy, Germany, wherever else he landed up playing, having some fun.
Austria.
Collecting some.
You put a shrimp on the barbie there? Oh, that's Australia.
Oh, Australia. Yeah. Way off Nest.
Yeah, I know.
But nonetheless,
Dukes of Hazzard.
Yeah. And he had an amazing career. He had an amazing career for not being drafted and coming into an organization and winning a Calder Cup, starting off his pro career the right way, and finding success, man. So, he's got the right attitude. I love his attitude. Hasn't deviated away from his philosophy a whole lot. Old school guy, been around some old school hockey, but the core pieces are still there.
Exactly. I loved when you brought up, we brought up are you a player friendly coach? And I loved his answer. You have to be now.
Have to be.
And you do, I guess. I guess you really do. When we were talking to him, the only thing I could think was Daryl Sutter still in the league. I'm not around Daryl Sutter, but he is kind of a hard ass. I don't think he's probably as bad as he used to be, but I know John Tortorella, people like to say he's a hard ass. He's a hard ass, but he just wants you to play hard. Yeah. And he tells you the truth, the hard truth sometimes that you don't want to hear.
No one wants to hear.
But
nothing wrong with that.
Michael Delzato had him in New York, and he said it was night and day when he was in Columbus last year. He said Torts had really stepped back from being as, I don't know if hard. Yeah. Like
just being on your back the whole time.
Right.
Yeah.
And
you have to evolve, right? You have to be around in NHL these days. Like if you're an old school guy, you had to have at least change your perspective and philosophy a little bit, not fully, but there's no other way to survive in this league. You couldn't be like the way you were before.
And like, I know we've talked about Torts a lot of times on here because we've had players that played with him, but I've told you before, he couldn't be a better human.
Yeah.
And he's got his hat on when he's coaching and he's hard on you, but he's that guy that grabs you after and be like, hey, man, you know why I'm so hard on you? I just want you to get better. Like Deli said, gives guys teaching videos instead of like what you did wrong.
Yeah.
But they would, I loved when he also said, I care about these guys. I want them to become better. I want them to be better people.
Yeah.
And that, that stems back, like he said, coming into the league and being with John Stevens, who's an amazing person on and off the ice. And Luke Richardson couldn't ask for better.
Yeah, right. This is super high character
to be around
people.
and to learn from. Right. And that's super important. And I think obviously we're not there with Deli while he's coaching, but you can just kind of tell he gets it. And hopefully, I'm sure he's going to do a good job and hopefully move on to wherever he wants to. Maybe he wants to stay there teaching kids. Who knows? But seems to be doing a good job. And he's a great guy. I loved him as a player. He was always funny kid, man, real witty, dry sense of humor.
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
He was a fun guy to have around for sure. And he was a good player, man.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And he still got the right attitude. Like we asked him about, having fun, and he's still having fun. He enjoys going to the rink. So to me, it's like, if you're having fun and enjoying what you do, like keep doing it. Right. I mean, he's in his hometown, he's playing, or he's part of a game he loves, and teaching young players how to be professional hockey players, essentially. Like, I mean, ride the wave, until you don't love it anymore. I mean, then maybe you have to reconfigure. But I mean, seems like he's got it going on, being in your hometown and being a part of something you love. So we'll wish him the best.
Yeah.
Nice to see him. He's got the right attitude.
Great catching up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great catching up with him, man. It's a shame we have to catch up to people. You just lose track, man, of time, and everybody's got families, but it's just great to see him. We text for a while after last night, and he said hopefully they get things cleaned up in Canada there, where he can actually do something. He's he'd like to bring his family down here and kind of show him around, where he started and all that stuff. So that'd be cool if he could bring him into the studio.
Yeah, no kidding.
Have a little sit down.
Deli 2.0
teaching lesson.
Well, teaching lesson.
Give us a teaching lesson.
Exactly. Well, appreciate Andy hopping on. That's a wrap. Episode 56 in the books. Nast.
In the books, baby. And next week, you know who we got coming on.
Who we got, Nast?
We got the assistant coach from the St. Louis Blues, Jim Montgomery, who played here in Philly, played in a lot of places, actually. Hell of a player. Played in Maine with Paul Correa, national championship, played with Mac. This guy's got stories after stories. He was a teammate of Andy Delmore.
Yeah.
Just a great guy. Can't wait to have him on. Funny. One of the funniest players I ever had, man.
Awesome.
Just a
We're
great
looking forward to that one.
Yeah.
Sweet. Well, until then, check us in next week. Episode 57. Until then, knuckleheads, stay safe. Have some fun.
See you, knuckleheads.